Well, how you all doing today? Today's video is going to be on the lady in the back, Santa Muerte. Guest today, Janelle will be my guest today. We're going to be talking Santa Muerte. Um, I'm waiting for her to get on here with me. I got Janel Longoria, my sister, actually, in Palo.
Hey,
How you doing, Janelle?
hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, you went to hide in the car, huh?
Yeah, I went to hide in the car because I have reception out here and I got some ambient type light. Yeah.
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 All
Yeah.
right, guys.
No.
You guys please
Mm.
share the videos to your pages, Santa Muerte. We're gonna be doing Q&A here
Yep.
with Janelle about the Santa Muerte. And to all my family that are watching, if you guys don't like this, please leave. You know.
Same here.
uh, yeah, this is religious stuff. You know, I'm not
Yes.
gossiping. Um, so
Yeah.
um, let's kick this off with that famous sigil.
Okay, go ahead. There we go. Can you still
Let's
hear
get to
me?
the good stuff. Yes,
Okay.
let's get to the
Okay.
good stuff. So there's a sigil. There's a sigil going around, sigil, that has, or we call an empemba, that they're calling a Santa Muerte sigil. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you are practicing traditional Santa Muerte style, there is no sigils for Santa Muerte. Okay, um, I went to a coat hat. Oh, I want to cook like that. Well, yeah, you can get this at actually the gas stations here in Houston sell them. I got the real cheap crochet hat like this.
Yeah.
um, okay, going back, there is no sigil that belongs in the coat. Now, when I say coat, I don't mean like a dark coat. When we say coat, culto in Spanish, it means a practice, a meeting place. Okay, it is not necessarily something that's hidden or something that is the occult. Culto means like a practice in Spanish. Like they say, vamos a la iglesia, vamos a un culto. Okay? It's not necessarily means a cult or hidden. Okay? Just to get that across, if you are practicing Santa Muerte traditional style, there is no sigils. Okay. Now I know there's a book out there that was written by some Tata. That is when people are mixing two different religions together, two different cultures together. I know there's also a video that we were talking about. This famous person who does YouTube videos, and she uses it. You know, it's not part of what the Santa Muerte traditional is. Now, I have nothing against you doing something like that on your personal level. For example, if you're gonna do a work for yourself or you are working for a client, I have nothing against if you are uniting both um, both cultures, both energies. But for somebody to say this belongs to the Santa Muerte cult or the Santa Muerte practices, it's wrong because that's not. That belongs, that sigil is a mix of palo and voodoo, or Baku type of sigil. It does not belong with a Santa Muerte. So let's start by kicking that up with that.
Right. I'm glad you explained it because there's no way I could have explained it like that. Yeah. And the real argument behind it is it's just a symbol, like I should be able to incorporate it the way I want to. And in under normal circumstances, that's totally cool. And you know what, at the end of the day, you can do what you want to do, that's fine. But the reason why we bring this up is because we have a background in an understanding of the Palo Mayombe religion. And it just, what the reason I brought it up is because it rang to me of reminiscent of palo, because because of the way it's drawn out. I know a lot of symbols can look like this. I know a lot of symbols can have elements that look the same. This is true, but because I recognized it as something belonging to its Santa Muerte's symbol, and as far as I'm aware, most palo houses or munanzos will say you can practice the Santa Muerte um, practice, but you have to do it separate from palo. Like you cannot mix them. So that's why it rang a red flag to me, because I was like, wait a minute, what I was taught was you cannot mix these two. And I understand that things are evolving. I understand that if a person's gonna do a practice, they're gonna do it how they want to do it, right? But I
Yes.
wanted to make, yeah, I wanted to make the masses or whoever's watching aware. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Before you do that, do a little bit of research before you just go and use a symbol, which is what we should be doing anyway. But that's why it struck such a chord in me, because I was like, wait a minute, if that's a patipemba, which for those of you just tuning in, a patipemba is from the Palo Mayombe religion, then it's more than just, you know, picking up a symbol that you see online and using it for what you want. There's real depth and definition, and um, uh, it goes far back. I mean, this religion goes far back. You can't just pick a symbol and use it. Some people do, even in Palo. Some people will just pick a symbol and use it, but it's not supposed to work that way. It's supposed to be a one-on-one with you, with that symbol, and with that spirit. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's a certain signature for that spirit, and that's it. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not here trying to tell you that you cannot do that. You can do it on your personal practices. If you want to infuse to religion, that's fine, because that's on your personal level. Nobody could tell you how to work spirituality. But to claim that that sigil is part of the tradition of the Santa Muerte, that's where I'm saying no, it's not.
Right.
It's wrong.
Right.
Okay, it's
Exactly.
wrong. Well,
Exactly. So.
I I do spiritual work, and sometimes I incorporate different herbs or different things that belong into palo. Like for example, pimienta de Guinea. When I do work with a Santa Muerte, because of the stuff that pimienta de Guinea is known for. But in my videos, I say this belongs to this culture.
Mhm.
You know, it does not belong to the Santísima Muerte practices. So I
Right.
think it's fine as long as people clear that off, that it doesn't belong to her culture, that it belongs to Palo. What belongs to Palo, you know.
Right. And
And
some people will argue, though, that, let me ask you this. Some people will argue that in her practice, we use the rainbow colored statue and the rainbow colored candle, and they will argue that's not supposed to be solely hers. That is actually, you know, product of Ocha mixing in. So what would you say to that?
yeah, that's part of OSHA, Las Siete Potencias, or the
Mm-hmm.
seven African colors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, with the tradition of the Santa Muerte, if we were going back to the Aztec, okay, first of all, there wouldn't be no color candles. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Color candles are used to help you visualize the work better that you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, so, with that said, when the culture gets mixed and introduced with other culture, in other words, watered down, and we have, you know, people that practice Ocha, people that practice Mayumbe, and they're using them. What they're doing, instead of keeping the culture what is real, they are watering down the culture.
Mm-hmm.
They're they're using the things and say, well, this is the right way. If they will come and say this is the way it works for me, but it's not the real tradition, it's fine. I'm fine with that. You
Yeah.
know, But now that happened basically a lot of the things that happened in Venezuela with the espiritistas and the ocha santeros in Venezuela, bringing her into the practice. And then that candle started going around with the different seven colors, like introducing her into the ocha. But the Santa Muerte, the spirit of Santa Muerte, is the red one will do the same as any other one. The white one will do the same as any other one. It doesn't matter as long as you have that faith and belief on her. It doesn't matter if you have seven statues or if you don't have no statue, or if you have it's just a little candle like this with her image right here. That will work fine. You don't even need to have a statue. What you need to do is have her in here.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yes, that's a mix. I don't know if I answered the question. That's a mix with the siete potencias and Santa Muerte. That's not a traditional thing, but if you want to use it on your personal level, it is.
Right. Right. So continuing on from that, based off of what you know and based off of how long you've been practicing with her alongside, and I'm not going to say alongside, but you have several different areas that you work with, one of which is her, one of which is Balo, and one of which you're versed in several different religions. So with that being said, how much of her practice do you think is mixed? Like, do you think all of it, and that it's just one huge melting pot of different practices, or do you think that what? How do you see that?
Um, well, I want to answer that by saying, just like the African tradition, most of her tradition is oral,
Mm-hmm.
and there is no secret books unless, like, for example, I have Mayan ancestry, which I've been practicing this for the last 20 years, basically 22 plus years. And what I learned from my abuela. I learned from my abuelo, from the shamans at my village, on how to basically work with her. But there's no written knowledge, just like the African, just like the Congo tradition, which is all oral. So it's basically like we say, cada Congo con his maña, everybody on their own thing. But to say that that's the right way, it's not. I mean, it's not right. So that's where it's watered down. And I'm a perfect example of that. I'm not saying that I don't do that, but I do that on a personal level. For
Mm-hmm.
example, uh, I also practice a little bit of I practice a lot of things, but I practice a little bit of Luciferian. And last time I did a ritual with her, but that's on a personal level with the Astros sigil.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's on a personal level because I practice. My altars is like my laboratory,
Mm-hmm.
and I want I want to make a live video on this and see if this works. So as a tata or as a espiritista, as a ocha practitioner, as a voodoo practitioner or anything, you always keep your laboratory open. That's your spiritual table, your enganga stuff, and you want to practice those things to see if it works. I'm not saying hurt people, but and I think that's the case that a lot of people have. She has become like a booming sensation overnight,
Mm-hmm.
especially with a lot of different types of people not being able to join power because of their sexual preferences. A lot of people um, been lied to in their religions. And to buy a statue of the Santa Muerte in a juju shop, you waste what, 40, $50? And
Yeah.
that's it. You put your faith, you don't have to go through initiation. You don't have to spend all this big money on different things like a prenda, like Santo and stuff. It's a cheap religion, you know. But then you have, like, for example, the Tatas, or you have the Santeros, you have the Babalaos. They're trying to make some money out of that too.
Right.
So they're gonna try to incorporate that within their practices and say, well, te voy a rayar, or I'm gonna do the Inquimba with a Santa Muerte, and then that's where we hear the stories that somebody got scratched under Santa Muerte, which is basically fuckery.
So the people that are watching this, some of the terminology he's using when you get when you do a rayamiento or getting scratched, it's like an initiation. So when he's saying that people are out there mixing these two religions together, saying that you can get initiated with Santa Muerte, he's basically saying that it's kind of like a ripoff, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Basically, yeah.
Sort of,
When
kind of.
they try to mix it into the different cultures, I myself like to practice something, and I like to be authentic, like the real way it was practiced. When I work with my Santa Muerte and I teach and I do my live videos, for example, if I'm gonna do a blood sacrifice, I do not sacrifice to that Santa Muerte.
Right.
I sacrifice to a Santa Muerte that's Aztec, which is made of stone. It's made of concrete or made of clay that I make and I help people make, and I sacrifice to that. This Santa Muerte right here is mostly a Catholic style Santa Muerte, or what we say the upgrade, the New Age Santa Muerte. I practice traditional, which is the Aztec Santa Muerte.
Okay. We're
But people do sacrifice to a statue like that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and that's and I've heard that too, and that's why we're bringing this up, because we're hearing about so many different types of practices with this one specific spirit. Like, some people will be like, I don't know why you would give that spirit blood, and then other people are like, why wouldn't you? So I mean, that's another topic that's come up recently too, is the giving of blood. So we're getting a lot of comments though. Can you read them?
Like
Uh,
Veronica mentioned something about the inner cult.
yeah.
Um, Look, Veronica, in Mexico, a lot of Satanist practitioners, or what we call Satanista or Luciferians, brought her into that cult, and they start doing blood rituals with her, blood offerings to her. But that's, like I said, it's a watered down practice. It's not the proper way. Everybody's entitled to practice with her as you guys wish, but this is Q&A.
Yeah.
So traditional, she's not a satanic saint, but people have introduced her into that satanic practices, and now they doing blood rituals. They're working her like she's an old god. I don't like to say demons, but it's in basically, for me, they're all gods, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of stuff is just made up. They're using her to make money, and they want to bring people to their cause and say this is the right way and this, and I say it's a lot of fuckery. If you're gonna practice, if you want to do traditional, that's not traditional. Okay, we're talking about the Aztec way.
Yeah.
Talking about the Aztec way. Yes, during the Aztec time, the Aztecs went out there and captured their enemies, brought them over to the temple where they had high priestess and high priest. They were not married. That's another subject we're gonna talk. It was
We'll
not
get
a
to that.
marriage. Okay, we're gonna get into that. And then what they did, they cut the prisoners, the captors, the people they captured. They chop off their head, chop off took off the hearts, and fed the blood to the statue or to the spirit of the Santa Muerte. But it wasn't what I have behind me. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was different. Okay, just like, for example, in my village, we have a thing called San Simon, which is also in the Catholic tradition a statue. But San Simon, that has nothing to do with that. And in my village, in the time of the Mayans, they used to capture the enemies, decapitate them, and feed the blood into that. Which I do have one, but I can't show him. you know,
Okay.
um, I practice a lot of San Simon stuff to do, also San Cipriano and Santa Muerte. But when we talk about inner circles, that began a lot in Mexico with satanic traditions.
Yeah. Michael is asking a lot of questions. He's asking, um, like, where could he read about this, or do you have any kind of references that he can look into, like, and he's let me scroll. Let me see here. Um,
What does Andrew Chestnut say about that? Let me tell you something, Michael, about authors. You know, a lot of people know how I feel about Mr. Andrew Chestnut, but an author is gonna try to make a sales on his book. If he has to put fiction in it, they're gonna put fiction in it. He's gonna try to make the book readable and interesting. So it's gonna have a lot of make believe. Like for example, the Santa Muerte, if you go against her beliefs or if you promise her something, she's gonna come and kill one of your family members, which is bullshit. Okay. So every book out there, you have to read it with common sense. That the author is trying to make the book exciting and give false material. It's my point of view. They're trying to make some money. So
mhm.
is
um,
Santa Muerte and the Aztec Queen the same? La Reina Roja is different from the Santa Muerte.
uh, okay. Sorry, I'm trying. I'm listening to you. I'm keeping up with the comments too. Um, I think basically they're talking about the Mictecacigual, the Aztec goddess of the underworld.
That's
Um,
the Santa Muerte
how
that I practice, traditional.
how they I guess if you want to go over how they correlate, because I know that in Andrew Chestnut's book he's talking about how um, it's kind of a mixture of la parca from Spain, from what I remember,
Mhm.
and then a mixture of the Spanish were basically using it as a scare tactic, but the people actually adopted it because they had the similarity of the Mictecacigual. I think that's what he has in his book. I have it on my Amazon list. I need to read it still. But
Um,
yeah, but
Michael, Michael, you're talking about Enriqueta. Enriqueta, basically, I'm gonna be honest with you. Her son Pantera knew a lot more than Enriqueta. Um, and Enriqueta practices more the Catholic tradition. Um, she practices more the Catholic tradition. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna give you an idea. If you're practicing the traditional Santa Muerte style, right? And I'm talking about the Aztec tradition. And you imagine the Aztec people praying to her to help them against the Spaniards. They're being conquered. Okay, so the Santa Muerte is helping her people fight against the Spaniards. So what happens when you come to the Santa Muerte with a rosary and you start praying to her in Catholic? I want you to think about that. Isn't that going against her followers and the tradition that she was believed in? If you come and do Catholic prayers to her, I think that the people, and this is my personal opinion, I think that the people that practice the Santa Muerte and do it the Catholic way are just hiding under the Catholic veil or under the Pope's skirt because they don't want to be seen that they practice something that the Catholic Church does not agree with, and it's something demonic.
did you say under the Pope's skirt?
Yeah,
I've
that's what
never
it is.
heard that. I've never heard that. I'm sorry.
The church condemns the practices of Santa Muerte. So people are like, well, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? So they'll bring God into it somehow, and they'll bring the rosaries and say Catholic prayers. That's not the traditional way. We're talking about the traditional way.
Okay. Okay. Well, can you give us like a detailed step by step sort of kind of on how they would do it? Like if a lot of people approach her like the Aztec goddess. A lot of people approach her that way. They do. We can't deny that. Everybody knows that. So
But they
I
pray
guess
to
you
her. They pray to her through rosaries and Our Father who is in heaven, thy kingdom come. During the Aztec times, they didn't believe in that Christian
okay.
God.
So how would
Okay.
you do it? How do
When
you
I pray
personally?
to her, I use a lot of Aztec words, and I pray for her from here. I talk to you like you said in your live video from here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm talking to you. I'm talking to my mother. You know, it's all from here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's the
Right.
real power of prayers right here.
So can you disclose, okay, like say for example, all right, they already have their altar set up, but it's catered specifically to the Aztec goddess. So you're coming from a pagan perspective, yeah? So
Hmm.
how, what would you do different basically? So basically what, there would be no rosaries, there would be no Catholic prayers, there would you even call her Santa? I mean,
Well,
how would
we,
the
we
offerings change?
we agree that the name Santa Muerte is wrong.
Okay.
Okay, because in order for something to be a saint or sanctified, it had to be alive, right?
Yeah.
And then
Traditionally.
it passed away, and then it was sanctified. The Santa Muerte was never a spirit, was never a human. She never
Never
had life.
human.
She was a spirit from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the people named her La Santa Muerte, so it's stuck with that. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here is traditional Aztec, traditional. What Enriqueta practice is Catholic mix.
Okay.
And you can hear in her live video, she's saying, you know, en el nombre de Dios, en mi santa muerte. That's Catholic tradition. I practice Aztec tradition.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I'm trying to think like what else went with, because I'm trying to think of the people that are just coming in, and all this sounds so confusing and everything, but um so basically, like, pretend she comes to them in a dream or something like that, and she comes to them with the image of the Reaper. Where would you take it from there? Where would they go from there?
I'm
Like,
sorry, can you, I'm trying to read here. What was the question
yeah,
again?
like say for example, because my phone's far away. So say for example, okay, they got confirmation, that they have interaction with Santa Muerte. She came to them in the the traditional Reaper figure. Where would you advise them to go from there? Like, they come to you asking, okay, I saw the Reaper image, and it was indicated to me that it was the Santa Muerte spirit. Where do I go from here? Because say for example, like I don't have any Catholic roots, I'm not Catholic, say I'm Buddhist or something. So where would they go from there?
If, okay, if the Santa Muerte came, for example, to me, the Reaper, I would even, in my, common sense, I'll be like, well, that's not a Santa Muerte. That might be San La Muerte, that is trying to contact with me. Um, when the Santa Muerte comes, it's a special feeling. Now I'm gonna talk about this, um, because a lot of people think that the Santa Muerte is in that statue 24/7.
Yeah.
They don't realize that you really have to invoke her, invoke the spirit into that statue, or into where you want her to come. An invocation has to be done. The Santa Muerte spirit is just one. It's one spirit. So you cannot be in your house and be in my house, in that statue 24/7. You have to invoke her. And that's why a lot of people say, well, how come my things don't come? How come I tell her this and I tell her that? And I ask him, did you invoke her? Did you bring her down? Did you bring the spirit down? No. Then try to invoke her. And then when you invoke her, you will see the difference. Okay? Now, like you were asking me about the Grand Ripper, like, and I said, for me, that would be like more of Santa, La Santa Muerte. Now, when
Mm-hmm.
a Santa Muerte has presented herself to me, what I see is this beautiful spirit. Yes, the room gets cold for a while, and then after that, it's like it's quiet, it's warm, and I have this warm feeling in my body when she comes down and I'm invoking her.
Mm-hmm.
By the first, it's like I start shaking, goosebumps all over my body, and then the room just stays quiet. It's like you can hear a pin drop, and then you get the little things in the back of your neck, you know,
Yeah.
and
Goosebumps.
that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then that's why I start working with her and then and invoking her and telling her what I do in my practices. But for me, every time she comes down in my thing, it's this beautiful spirit, like a globe, a light. It's not like a shadowy figure, but everybody has a different experience with that. It depends on what your belief system is of her. That's how she's gonna present themselves to you.
Right. And a
Now,
lot of, right, I'm sorry, but a lot of people, now that you're on that subject, a lot of people ask, and I'm sure you've been asked this, okay, well, since different people feel different things when they think they encounter her, how do I know for sure? How do I know for sure that it's her? And these people, they're just coming in, so they don't know how to use, like tarot cards. They say, oh, I can't remember my dreams. I'm not good at meditation. So just the sheer fact that I experienced this spirit, and I kind of have a notion that it might be her because it looks like her. But how do I know for sure, in your opinion, that it's her and not
if
some
you're
kind of
inviting, in
other
my
spirit?
opinion, if you want to work for her, you are inviting her in. You feel comfortable with inviting her in, so you should have a good feeling about it. You should have a peaceful feeling. Like I said it, a few seconds back. I have that cold feeling, but that's just because it's the energy of death. But then everything is fine. Everything is relaxed. I feel warm. I feel okay. I feel protected. But if you feel threatening,
Mm,
then something else might have come into um, that statue. You might have invoked something else. You might have opened the doors to a wrong spirit. That's why you have to protect yourself when uh, you have to protect yourself basically when you do a ritual. I think Frank James is a little bit pissed off. I have no idea why, but hey.
when we're doing this interview, guys, we have to keep in mind, guys, that everybody does their practice different. So, we that's one of the first things that we say in the videos and in the community is, remember, we can't condemn other people for how they do their practice. It's still her. It's still the Santa Muerte spirit. So we
Yeah.
can't. It's. I know that a lot of this information is stuff that a lot of us probably haven't heard, and even some of it I haven't heard. So we're still learning, and everybody has their different practice. I just want to remind everybody, just before everybody gets in an uproar. But
No, I don't. I'm when I do live videos for people too. I really don't care because it's my opinion, and like I said in the beginning, at the beginning of the video, if you want to practice whatever your personal practice is fine.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, whatever people's personal, well, he clarified it, but whatever personal practice people do is fine. What I'm against is people saying, drawing a sigil, patipemba, and saying this is the sigil de Santa Muerte.
right.
Well, did the Aztecs do sigils like that? No, the Aztec did carvings and different stuff of hieroglyphs. I mean, different carvings. They did not do patipemba. It's
Yeah, it's
common sense.
a different practice, yes. And then at that point we'll have a history lesson, but yeah, exactly, that's the whole reason I want to take responsibility. That's the whole reason why I brought it up, why it was a concern for me, because first and foremost it was pushed as this is it, and you have to accept that this is it. But that's not the case, because there are going to be people out there that are versed in symbology, period. But there are going to be people out there that are versed in symbols like this and being like, wait a minute, you might want to do some research before you use a symbol that's already kind of loaded, for the most part. Or don't feel like when somebody tells you this is it and that's that, don't feel like it has to apply to you. Everybody does things their own different way with whatever they're comfortable with. So that was the biggest problem that both Carlos and I had, which was, you must do it like this. No, 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 no. As a matter of fact, do some research before you delve into something that you're unfamiliar with, as with anything.
Um,
So
I, there's another good palero, real good palero, Tata Eric Colon. I did an interview with him, and he put his input. You guys could find the video on the interview on my page, or you can go to my YouTube page, and you're gonna find different types of works with Santa Muerte, spiritual bath, love spells, from good stuff to bad stuff. I put it out there so you guys could do it at home for free, and most of the materials are for free. I do put a little bit of the herbs, like I said, but I do mention this is not, you know, traditionally Santa Muerte, but if you guys are looking for a spell, you can do this.
Right.
That you can practice at home. But Mr. Colon's interviews in there, and the YouTube page is called The Truth Monger. You can look for the video there where he explains about the sigil and Carlos Montenegro, which I looked at the books, and there's sigils there with him and stuff using, where he claims that the Cristo Negro is part of Palo Mayombe, where he claims that the Santa Muerte is part of Palo Mayunde, which is all fuckery. In real traditional Palo, there's no Santa Muerte. If you want to practice mix or Palo Cruzado, we have Centella and Doki. And Santeria, she is known as Oya, so or regla de ocha.
Okay. I think we're giving out too much. Okay. What he's saying is, in Palo, there is a spirit, an entity called Centella Ndoki, and she had. Well, I'll let you explain it. Tell him,
Palo
why
Cruzado.
why she has the, yeah.
That's basically for us the Santa Muerte, the spirit of death, the spirit and Mayombe, which a lot of them get confused. And like, I don't want to say this. Well, I'm not going to say any names. Like, but for example, there's a Santa Muerte house in New Orleans that is doing engangas with the Santa Muerte statue inside a pot, the enganga, and they're claiming it to be a palo enganga. I have nothing against what people do, whatever. I'm just trying to give people the idea that that is fake. There's no such thing as a Santa Muerte enganga. And Mr. Carlos Montenegro put that in his book, then I have no idea why. Maybe that's his personal practices. Um,
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
let's bring up the marriage.
Okay. Go ahead. I
you
think it's
know,
interesting. I think it's very interesting, and I've only heard of it a couple of times on YouTube videos that were in Spanish. But like I said before he explains, I've heard of getting married to a spirit, but not getting married to essentially death. So by all means, I'm
and
listening. I'm sure everybody else is.
in the tradition of voodoo, a lot of practitioners will get married to their loas, right?
And Aloha is what? So that people that don't know.
It's a Haitian spirit. It's a Haitian spirit, it's just like the Orisha, but of the Haitian tradition of voodoo. So a lot of people get married to that, and when I go back again, a lot of people in Louisiana that practice that and combine the stuff with the Santa Muerte. They'll say, well, if I could get married to, let's say, Uzuli, then why can't I get married to Santa Muerte?
Okay.
You know, those are two different practices. In the Mayan and the Aztec tradition, there's no such thing. Now we're talking about Aztec tradition.
Okay.
Whatever you practice at home, that's your personal thing, but we're talking about traditional, okay? Aztec tradition. So that there is fake. There's no such thing as I'm gonna put a ring and I'm married to the Santa Muerte. Well, good luck with that. I want to see how that goes.
That's
You
what
know.
my question was like, how does that work? I can only tell you what people have told me. Like you said, in the Haitian tradition, I can tell you what people have told me about. But is it really the same category? Because
No,
aloha,
no, Watala. Sorry,
what's
go
that?
ahead. I'm Sana Watala. So when I see Watala, I get excited. Although I don't have Ocha done, but I respect Watala. He's my papa. So I
Yeah,
practice more Mayombe. I'm in love with Mayombe. So I don't have Ocha, but I don't disrespect the people that practice Ocha.
right,
I'm my love.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. Um,
Okay. But yeah,
Sorry.
how do you marry her? I think it depends on how do you see her. What has been your experience with her? Do you see her as like an angel? Do you see her, some people see her as like a demon. Some people see her as a goddess. Some people see her as an elevated ancestor. It depends on who you talk to. So I think that's one of the determining factors as to if you marry a spirit. Well, are you marrying a goddess? Are you marrying a saint? Are you marrying an angel? I mean, where exactly are you coming from? That's where I want to go from there, their perspective as to how they see her. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. And that brings out a good point because depends on how you see her and you feel her. That's what she's gonna appear to you. That's how she's gonna manifest to you.
Right.
So, also if you're like, yes, mama, I want to see you, but don't scare me. Don't. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to see you and feel scared. I have a lot of students that do that. That come to me and say, I really want to see the Santa Muerte, but I'm afraid. Then I
Right.
tell them then.
Yeah. I'm listening. Sorry,
Then
I'm
I'm
going back
like
inside the
then.
house.
I'm like
Right.
then. You shouldn't be practicing this. And the other thing is, how come I don't see her? How come I don't feel her? How come? And then I'm like, well, have you challenged her? Challenge her. When I first got my Santa Muerte, I challenged her and I told her, hey, I welcome you to the house. You know, my doors are open, but everything that is here works with me, and I have seen. So you're gonna have to prove to me that you're real. That night, I almost shit it in my pants.
Sorry.
I was sleeping with the covers like this and shaking like when I felt that cold because I never felt that energy before. I'm talking
Yeah.
about 22 years ago, and I never felt that energy before. And I'm over here trying to 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 wake up my wife so at least she could protect me. I'm hiding behind my wife's skirt because I'm like scared as shit. You know, but then when she put her hands on my head, it's like everything was relaxed, and I just felt like I was in the arms of my mother. You know.
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people have said is, "Ooh, the image is frightening, but I got a calming feeling and a nurturing and motherly feeling, so I got over the image, basically."
This this
Yeah.
image, this image is kind of beautiful compared to the Aztecs image. Oh, I'm gonna show you my Santa Muertes. So the one I really love is the cross all the way up there, but this image right here is beautiful compared to the real image of the Santa Muerte. Sorry,
Uh-oh.
my phone fell off the thing. It's real beautiful compared to the
Sorry.
Aztec.
Yeah.
I guess it's like, don't show me a camera. I haven't put my makeup on.
I don't want to be on camera. I didn't consent to this. Yeah, but yeah, the Aztec image that I've seen is like it's like a skeleton, right? A skeleton with the armor,
And it
right?
has long hair, you know. Her face is deformed. You know what? I don't know if you heard the myth of the Descarnada or La Llorona.
La Llorona though in Mexico is different. That's just like a spirit lady.
Yes, but the way she comes up, that's almost like the way the real Aztec Santa Muerte was portrayed back then in the Aztecs. She was a
Huh.
this figure, like almost like the Descarnada. Um, I've been trying to get this guy, what's his name, Dean, from RVH, or I forgot the name of his site. He's in Southern Texas. He
Okay.
does a lot of Mexican folklore, and I've been trying to do an interview with him so he
Oh,
could,
Alex?
Alex.
That's my
Yes.
cousin.
Oh, so I've been
Yeah.
trying to do shy. But guys, just to let you know, on Saturday I have an interview with Christian Crow.
Christian. Yeah.
Christian,
He's
I'll be interviewing Christian, and he's gonna be telling us a little bit more. And I like Christian style because Christian doesn't sugarcoat it. He tells it how it is.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people that practice her sugarcoat it too much.
Right. Yeah, he seems pretty straight up with what he's gonna do, and his altars are amazing. Not that that's a determining factor, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. That guy's altars are awesome.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
they're beautiful. I had 76 Santa Muertes at this point,
Damn.
and
Tell
I
me,
just
tell us why. Tell us why. Why does that happen?
well, I used to do a lot of spiritual work for free,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people were grateful, and they gave me different statues.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I collected them, but then I started giving them away slowly to different people. Say, here, take this, take. I didn't use them. The one I used the most. Let me see. The one I use the most is the white one, the one at the end. That's the one I use the most.
Yeah.
That was the first one, and that's the one I got used to because I said the color doesn't matter. The color is just to help a manifestation, like red for love, just like the candles. A red candle represents love. It's just to help you manifest. Because when you're doing spiritual work, you're supposed to manifest. You're supposed to see it right here. You're supposed
Yeah.
to see it within your head. You're supposed to be seeing if you're doing it against someone else, which I don't recommend, unless it's protection. But you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be seeing that person go through whatever your intentions are. You see it here and you put intention, that means feeling in it when
Right.
you're doing spiritual work. If you just say, I'm going to turn a candle on, for my madrina, for la bosuda, well, I give her a name. I don't call her that. I give her a personal name that I call her when I want to call her. You
See, and
know.
I had never heard of that. Like prior to today, I had never heard of really giving her your own personal name. Like a nickname, the more popular nicknames, that's fine. Like I say Madrina because that's what she
Mhm.
feels like. But yeah, I had never heard of giving her like a personal name
No,
like that.
that's like I said, that's a personal thing. I give her a name,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's a personal thing that I have because I call her by a certain name because what a lot of people need to understand is it's a personal relationship.
Yeah.
You have to build a personal relationship with that entity.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you like is what she's gonna like. However you tell how it is. Like a lot of people will say, "Well, I didn't turn on a candle for her. I'm feeling bad. I don't, I can't afford a candle. I don't turn on a candle for her every single day. I only turn a candle for her when I'm invoking her. Or else, who's the candle lit up for? If she's not there, who am I
Hmm.
lighting the candle for? So when I invoke her, I go ahead and turn the candle for her. I'm giving her loose. I'm giving her that shine. I'm here. Come to this candle. I'm here. I'm giving her the light to come into here and put her spirit there. When she's gone, I turn off the candle. I don't leave the candle on 24 hours, 7 days a week, because she's not
Okay.
there 24 hours, 7 days a week. She's only there when we invoke her.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because you've heard the same thing. I'm sure I've heard that if she that well, what I've heard is basically you leave a light on is like a sign of you're not a caretaker, but you're giving her light. Like I guess it's kind of like in the reference to when you light a candle for your ancestors, you keep it on is kind of like a not really a guiding light, but a sign of respect or something along those lines. And some people really believe that you're supposed to leave the light on all the time, which is I'm sure why you brought that up. And people are wanting to do it so much that we're like, I can't leave candles on all the time, so what do I do? And so what I said was, I've heard that you can just use any light source, maybe like a little electronic candle. I don't know if there's anything wrong with that, but I've seen a lot of altars where in which they have that on there, a little electronic light, or even, like a little string of lights. And I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, but I mean, I can be corrected. I can be told otherwise if that's wrong or something. So,
Yeah. Talking about Mr. Eric Cologne, he just started watching. So, guys, I will recommend that video that we did with Mr. Eric Cologne, which he gives a little
hello,
bit of explanation
hello.
about her and goes more into detail with Mayombe.
Okay.
Um, but yes, invocation is a personal thing. I normally grab like a little bell, or I'll get maracas and I start shaking it, and I start
Mhm.
invoking her. Now, my
Mhm.
invocation, I basically start early in the morning. For example, if I'm gonna do some spiritual work with her, I start doing the invocation at 2 in the morning. So by 3 in the morning, that spirit is already down.
Right.
En la macuré, sorry, en la madrugada. So I start invoking her, and then I start feeling that energy. I start feeling the energy. Um, and then that's where I start doing my spiritual work with her.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, that's the main problem that people have. Is like, why doesn't my stuff work? Have you invoked her? And I'm talking to people that do spiritual work with her.
Mm-hmm.
People that want to do like light up a candle for a certain petition. If you do not invoke a certain entity or spirit, then you're talking to an empty vessel. The same thing
Okay.
goes in Mayombe. What do you think we say back on licencia and then we blow the chamba and then we invoking that
Yeah.
energy. We're
Right.
waking it up,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
It's with
He's
everything. It's in every tradition. You have to invoke the spirit. I can't say it enough. She's not there 24/7, 7 days a week. You know,
they're wanting to know how specifically how do you do it? Like, okay, you said that you start early in the morning, that you light the candle, and you kind of what do you how do you talk to her basically to raise the energy to bring her essence to you? Like, what do you say?
when I started with the maraca or the bell, and I started
Oh,
invoking her by her traditional Aztec name, right?
mm-hmm,
And then I started talking in Spanish, and I start calling her to calm down. I
mm-hmm.
can't. I call her spirit to calm down, and just keep doing it, doing it. I keep doing it, and I start feeling into like a little trance
Okay.
feeling where I
You get
start
in.
getting tunnel vision. I start getting, how everything starts going dark, and
Yeah.
then I start having that feeling in the body, and I keep doing it, doing it, doing it until I'm satisfied, and I know she's there, and I feel that energy. Normally, my head will start spending because she
Mm-hmm.
is the energy of death. So that is the strong, a strong energy. That's why I also say it's hard when people say I have mounted or the Santa Muerte has possessed me. I'm like, how did you handle that energy? You know,
Mm-hmm.
how did your body handle that? I mean, it probably would have destroyed you, or you would have gone crazy. That's a strong energy, you know. And when she's coming down, my eyes start closing like basically like this, shot, because it's a real strong energy, and then everything cools off.
Hmm.
I start getting heated up, everything cools off, and then I start going and telling her what my thoughts are, what I want her to do, and start working with in front of her, and then communicating her through here
Right.
and through here,
Okay.
which is the easiest way to do. Now, I don't say, Dios te salve María, llena de gracia, el Señor es contigo, bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, bendito es tu fruto de tu vientre, Jesús, Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros los pecadores, a la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén.
Oh
No,
my
that's not my
God.
tradition. That's not my tradition. I don't say,
Right.
Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre, venga a nosotros tu reino, Señor. That's not my tradition. I practice with her traditional Aztec. I do not practice any of the Abrahamic religions with her.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, so coming from a pagan perspective, which is what a lot of people who have beef with the church are very interested in. So so we're divided here, we're as usual, with any tradition, we're always divided. We're divided between variations of what people consider traditional, variations of what people consider newer, and that sort of thing. That's why it's so vast, and it's so much to learn, because not only that, while you're practicing, you're also picking up cues on how you're going to be doing things, and sometimes those cues are in correlation with how other people do it, which is always odd whenever you figure that out. And some of them are going to be your own personal cues.
It's a
This is a little,
personal, yeah.
yeah.
It's a personal relationship that you will build out with her, and then as the more you work with her, the more you're gonna get to know her, the more you're gonna get used to that energy, that feeling. um that's why I said, what is the time of death, you know and probably people go, why do you invoke her that time? Well, what's the time of death? What's the time that people die or pass away the most of the time? Between
Yeah.
2 in the morning and 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Yeah, they have
you know
a peak in their they have a peak in their circadian rhythm, apparently. Scientifically, they're trying to say that that's when the most people have heart attacks or anxiety attacks, or when they die in their sleep, is usually between like 2 and 4 in the morning, is supposedly because you know how a lot of us will get like really drained around 2 or 3 p.m. We'll just kind of like the day will be done and we're just ready to go home and we're tired. Well, supposedly we get a peak in the middle of the night, our body peaks, and for some strange reason, that's when that's when they'll have heart attacks, or the anxiety will peak, and then oddly enough, that's when we get the unrestful sleep a lot of us will wake up during that time and we won't know why. Supposedly, the scientific reasoning is because of that peak.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sorry.
supposedly.
I'm laughing about because they're going on about how, they don't see how they mount the Santa Muerte.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But people would do anything to make a few bucks. Yeah, I've been to ceremonies that they're doing to with her, and then all of a sudden, a lady sitting in the chair, and then she's like, right like that, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What the hell's gone? And then she's like, and um, manly voice, she's like, yo soy el espíritu de la Santa Muerte, you know. Y vengo aquí a limpiar con ustedes. And then they start acting like they do in Santeria. And they start doing the saludo like they do in Ocha. I'm like, okay, let me get my stuff. Let me get my drink. I'll take my food a plate to go, and I'm going home. So I will not be part of this BS. I
That's
will not be
awesome.
part of this BS.
What are you talking
Let me
about?
go home.
I'd stick around for the show. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Just get the popcorn out. But people will do stuff for money, you know.
Uh,
Um, Look, well, imagine the last time I heard of initiation of the Santa Muerte was about 3,100 and something dollars, you know.
wow.
And that's they just grab a regular Santa Muerte and they stuff stuff inside of her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, why are they bringing this tradition like in Palo? But here in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I hate to say this, but we Latinos, we're gonna take advantage of white people. If you guys want to pay us $3,000, I'll prepare all the Santa Muertes you want.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, no, no. Yeah.
No, I just said it. It's stupid. It's funny, but do your research. There is no Santa Muerte in Ganga. Do your research. Yeah, if you guys want to pay $3,000 for a Santa Muerte in Ganga,
Yeah, that's definitely a newer adaptation, that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah, you
Ay,
know,
ay, ay. But
it's like what's Fernanda. I think Fernanda. I don't want to bring this up, but look, like for example, Spiritismo, Obium, you know, they're like almost the same.
which one?
Okay, Espiritismo and Obium.
Obeya? Is that
Yeah,
that's
Obea, Obium,
oh,
Obium,
okay.
or
Okay.
in Honduras we call it Buye. You know,
Mm,
doesn't mean that they're the same. There's similarities, but not the same. You know,
mhm.
just like Mayombe, they have different ramas, right? But guess what? So do Pentecostals, so do Baptists, and so do the different Catholics. They believe in the same thing, but they practice it totally different.
When he says ramas, he means like different branches, different different views of the same thing, sort of kind of. Well, no, it's like a branch. Yeah, I don't know. You explain it. I'm gonna explain it my own retarded way.
Yeah, it's a different branch. It's a different house. The different houses that teach different things because every tata will have their own um, secrets passed down by oral tradition. I don't want to get too much in that. I shouldn't have brought it up, you know. But it's the same thing with the Santa Muerte. A lot of different houses. Enriqueta will preach something. This other house will preach something else. This other people will preach something else. I've seen people getting married in front of her. That's nothing wrong. If they want the blessing, get married in front of her. The statue's right there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
But then to say, I'm gonna get married to the spirit, I'm like, you know um I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice somebody else's spirit for you. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna mount Santa Maria. I heard it all. This is
Mm,
the sigil of the Santa. I heard it all.
mm.
And like I said, I really don't have any problem if it's on a personal level. But to tell people that are just beginning to learn about this, that this is a Santa Muerte sigil and it's from her and it's from her culture and it's from her traditional way, it's wrong. To
Okay.
say that she has an enganga that is traditional, it's wrong. It's watered down. Um, and in all religion, this happens. It happened to the in Ocha. It happened to the Congos. It happens in all major religions. We Latinos, we have this beautiful culture,
Mm.
and it's beautiful spirituality, espiritualidad, and it hurts me when I see stuff like that being watered down, and people inventing things that it shouldn't be. I don't care what they do on a personal level in their homes, behind their doors, but to say this is the right way, that's where I get a little bit upset.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I
perfectly
feel like
justifiable. I mean,
I
that
feel
makes
like
sense.
I feel like it's being stolen from our culture.
Hmm.
I feel
Um,
like it's being.
yeah, and there's still a lot of people, speaking of which, there's still a lot of people, and this is going to kind of contradict what you just said, but in the same vein, I'm going to say it anyway, but there's still a lot of people that think that they can only, invoke her, work with her if they are Hispanic or Latino. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and in my experience, that's not the case. I mean, death comes to everybody. But I've been saying like you can be any race and work with her. That's how I feel. So long as there's always a but, so long as you understand the history, understand the culture, you're respectful of it and you're not trying to make a quick buck, then honor her as much as you want. Do what you're going to do. That's how I see it. Just don't try to corrupt it, uh roll with it, and respect it, and don't just learn about it just so you can make a quick buck. That's my opinion. Like
Okay.
it's one thing if people work with her and then they're helping others, with the works that they do with her. That's one thing. You're a spiritual worker. That's what you do. But if you're only learning about her to manipulate and the masses and to make a buck, then that, in my opinion, is wrong and you're doing it for facetious reasons. That's my opinion.
Okay. Now, I want to touch on this again. I know you were, but it's the truth,
Yeah.
and I don't want to sugarcoat it. There will
Okay.
be a lot of people, not only Latinos out there, but there will be a lot of people that will take advantage of you if you don't do your research.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, you were asked a question about having a Santa Muerte and then a Bóveda.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was asked a question about um, how do they work together? Do they work together? Can you put them together? What's been my experience with putting them together? And I said that my experience is not having them together. That was my experience. I tried it several times over and I went to the T, did everything, tried to do my best to the T. Yes, I screwed up some, but went back and tried to fix it. And I had them in the same room and it just did not work out well. And my understanding, my reasoning, the reason I was given is because it was the problem on the on the spirit's behalf, not on Santa Muerte's behalf, but on the spirit's behalf. They're like, I don't want to be anywhere around that. I don't want a reminder. I don't like that. I don't want you. I even don't want you to do it. I don't want you involved. You need to get away from that. I don't like it. That's the feel and the energy that I got from it. So I put them in separate rooms and it stopped. All of the
Yeah.
disagreements and everything stopped. So what does that say?
Well, it's two different energies. If you doing it the Puerto Rican way, the Cuban way, they're two different, or like a Sansista way, it's two different energies. When you talk about Cuban, all you have in there is the center glass and the glasses around. That's it. That's
Mhm.
the traditional Cuban. And then there's other bodas espirituales that will have Mesa Blanca, that will have the cups, and then they'll have an Indio, a Taino, a Gypsy, they'll have a Congo, they'll have an Arabe, like you were saying that, but those are from that culture. Now, I would understand if you're gonna do an ancestral altar,
Yeah.
then I could say it's okay.
Mm. Then there's no problem. Yeah.
I can't hear or see nothing.
I think
I
it might be their internet connection because mine was doing the same thing.
mhm. Yeah. What?
Veronica, Hell no. Hell no.
Those are two different energies, girl.
Oh yeah, we
Two
figured
different
that out.
energies.
We
Now I
figured that
understand
out.
I understand if you put Lilith and Santa Muerte together, cool. If you put Marbella and Santa Muerte together, cool. You
Not
know,
Hecate.
yeah. But going back to the Mesa Blanca or altar, if you're doing a traditional like Puerto Rican or Cuban, it has nothing to do with that. Now, if you're doing it to your ancestor altar, like the way I have it, I have an ancestor altar, then I do add her there, because it's part
Yeah.
of our culture. Just
Yeah.
like I would, yeah, just like I would add, for example, Catholic style San Simon in there, anything that my ancestors or my cultures believed in, then I will add that. That's different. Those are two different, three different things, or four different things if you're gonna count San Sista.
Mhm.
If practicing the Allan Kardec way, it's different. With Allan Kardec,
Yeah.
it doesn't belong in there. Now, in spiritual family, defunto, ancestor altar is different. Then you can add that. Now, there are some saints different spirit that the energies do not go together. Like what Veronica said, Hecate and Santa Muerte. I'm like, why would you do that? No,
I learned that
no.
the hard way. That's why she's right there. She's in the bedroom. She has no problem being in the bedroom. That's why old Madrina over there has center stage in the living room because when they were in the same room, just kind of facing each other, it was constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
two different energies. I don't know. I mean, I'm the type of a person when I go and I walk into a house and I'm being invited to a house. As soon as I walk, I feel the energy of the house
mm,
right away. Um, it's I pick up on energy real fast. I do a lot of readings, and a lot of people come here, and I see the spirits that walk behind them, and I describe the spirits that walk behind them to the T. No, I do not do spiritual readings over the phone or on the internet. I don't. It has to be a one-on-one. You know,
mhm.
but the same thing when I walk into a religious person and I see the two energies there, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But I don't criticize them because I want them to learn from
Yeah.
that experience. I don't
Mhm.
go and say that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. There might be a reason why they have that. And there
Mhm.
might be a personal reason. Maybe that energy goes with them, you
Maybe.
know. But for my experience, if I put her with something else, it's like, no, don't do that. Do
Elegua.
not do. Yeah, I would
Elegua
not
or
sleep.
issue.
Yeah, I would not sleep in the night because and my dogs will be like running to the living room barking because they're like, what's going on? What's going on? I do not put them together. They're separate energies.
Mhm.
Now, another question that was brought up, Janelle, was can I
Mhm.
practice Ocha
Oh.
and still can I still practice for Santa Muerte if you keep the different traditions separate? Like your Ocha is in your Ocha room and your Santa Muerte is in her little room, it's
Mhm.
fine. A
Mhm.
lot of santeros or Ocha priests will say no,
Mhm.
but I also know a lot of different. She freaked out when I came home with with a
That's
legua.
what I'm saying. I'm telling you. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is okay, now that you're on that subject with Ocha, and for those watching, Ocha is Santeria essentially. Sort of kind of. But those okay, let's just go over real quick. Those spirits, they're kind of like I guess you could call them what similar to like angels, sort of, kind of in Ocha.
I don't touch the Ocha subject because
Saint.
I'm not
Okay.
a santero. But yes, they're high elevated spirit that they were once alive, I guess, and they elevated to. There are different things out there, but I don't like to
Right.
talk about Ocha because I'm not initiated and I don't want to disrespect anybody who's watching here.
Okay. Well,
But I
I'll
have a lot of knowledge on Ocha, but I keep
mhm.
that to myself.
Okay. Well, I'll risk the brunt of the stupid stick, and I'll say from what I know, they're definitely kind of they're elevated. Yeah, they're almost, some call them saints in a sense, but of course that's how they refer to them. And that she doesn't have a problem, supposedly she doesn't have a problem with any of them except for the crossroads one, which would be Elegua or Eshu. And that for some strange reason their energies butt heads, and we're debating on, is it because death is kind of at a crossroad too, so their energy is similar and they butt heads, or is it because Elegua is kind of seen as and not really a trickster, but he's seen he can stir things up basically, and maybe she doesn't agree with that energy, but that she's cool with, like, there's Aphrodite type um spirit in Santeria called Oshun. There's another one called Yemayan. They're the feminine one's, one's like the ocean, one's like the river, but that she doesn't really have too much of a problem with them. For some strange reason, it's the crossroad type um, fiery almost energy that she has a problem with. But in other circumstances, it's other dark feminine that she has a problem with, and that's from what I've heard. I mean, I'm just telling you what I heard. So
Well,
that,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have my Elegua down here. I don't know if you can see him. Hold on. I
okay,
have Santa Muerte above, and I have my Elegua.
below.
Uh,
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see him right here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. And I asked permission from him first,
Mhm.
and asked permission for them if they could get along, and they say yes. I threw Obi, and at least I learned how to do that. Now I'm gonna give my personal opinion with that.
Okay.
When you bring Elegua to the house, he's the protector of you, Ile, of your house,
Mhm.
right? He's the protector of your house. He roams around your whole house. He's in your house. He's the head of
Mhm.
your house. Santísima Muerte wants to play that role too.
Yeah.
So they're like, I want to be the one protecting this person, and she's like, no, I want to be protecting that. So those energies collide,
Mhm.
right? Those
Mhm.
energies. Why do we put Elegua or Echu behind the door so he protects the door? He protects the house.
Yeah.
Santa Muerte wants to play that role too, and they're both like competing who can do a better job. The
Mhm.
energies,
Mhm.
okay. So, for example, that's why I asked permission first before I brought her here and say, when
Yeah.
you guys get alone, yes. But by talking to her is fine. Like I said, it's your personal communication that you have with her.
Right.
It's about communicating with her. But yes, the energies do collide.
Mhm.
I noticed that in the beginning. And I'm like, well, if you guys don't get along, you're going on the box and you're going in the box, and I'm bringing something else in here.
Oui.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
way I'm straight up. I talk to them like I talk to you, like I talk to anybody. No, I
Mhm.
don't sugarcoat it. I say, this is the way I want, because it's like, it's a personal thing. I'm not saying that I disrespect Echu or disrespect Elegua. I don't. I just tell them how I feel.
Yeah.
Either we get along, or, you guys are screwing me up here.
Yeah.
And to this day, um, I put toys on him, and the toys are like flying everywhere. That he plays around them. I see her walking around in my apartment, in my living room. I see her walking around all the time. You know, sometimes I'll walk up in the middle of the night to get water in the refrigerator, and she'll be sitting down in a chair. You know, yes.
Damn.
And I tell my girlfriend that I'm like, yeah, I just saw her, and she's like, what is it? I'm like, I know what it is. I'm not gonna ask. I'll leave it alone.
Mhm. I
I'll leave it alone. Yeah, but she warns me fast. Um, I tell people, normally when somebody throws at me, my spiritual altar is the one that receives the impact first, and that glass will blow up, like literally
Mhm.
bust.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, I got legua in my head, blah 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 blah, and then I got Lucero in my room, blah 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 blah, and then I got her. What's up? We're gonna take care of this or not? So here I am at 3 in the morning. Okay, okay, who's sending me this?
Fine.
I gotta go talk. I gotta go talk to my daddy over there, my enganga first, and I'm like, okay, 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 whatever. Clean myself, throw it, send it back. That's it. Go back to sleep. You know, um, but everybody has a different way of doing things.
Mhm.
Um, a quick story. I had a student who I helped her build her spiritual altar for her ancestor, and she told me the story that she wanted to join Ocha, but her madrina in Ocha told her that she had to grab all her Santa Muertes, put her in boxes, and put her in a closet. So she followed her madrina's advice, and what happened? Her life just went, you know, it went downhill. She lost her job, she lost her house, she lost her marriage. As soon as we put her back into her altar where she belonged and separated them in different rooms, she got a brand new job.
Mhm.
Okay, she got her house back. She
Mhm.
was going through a court case where she was suing the hospital, the health system. She won the court case, and that was all in a matter of 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Damn.
She put her back into her altar, her life just did a big circle and back where she was at. So
That's
I
some
told her,
serious stuff right there.
why would they tell you, you know, to do that? And she's like, well, my madrina said to do that because she was not part of us and she was not part of Ocha and stuff. I'm like, but you believed in her, you asked her for favors, and then you turn your back on her. That's like a traición.
Mm.
That's like stabbing her in the back after all the favors she did to you.
Yeah.
That's like yeah, that's I was like, no, you don't do that. She put her back, and she apologized, gave her all her offerings and stuff. I worked with her a lot. I actually worked for her for 2 weeks, setting up her altar, telling her what to do, the prayers to go to the altar, how to talk to her, how to cleanse her, how to get her back. And we were like at 2 in the morning, I was like half asleep. Okay, now you say this and this and this and this, but her life got back together to where it was. You do not turn your back on anything that you have made a promise to or a pacto, and then say, I don't need you anymore. F you, I have something better, something new.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you 100%. Um, it's kind of like a sub question, but some people they kind of rush into it and then they get to it and they realize maybe I'm not so ready. What advice would you give them once they've say they've already set everything up and then they get to it and it's too overwhelming? What advice would you give to them after that? Would you tell them to take everything down? Would you tell them to continue but just take it slow? Like, what would you tell them?
Well, first, I would want to know, how do they practice with her? What dimension and doors have they opened by mistake?
Mm,
Maybe then they have opened a spiritual door and they let something in. Have they done a cleansing? You know,
mm,
has something else been called in as another spirit instead of her? Has
mm-hmm.
it possessed that statue? Um, and another thing is, what was the reason why they started practicing with her? A lot of this is a lot of people's, and this is a common mistake a lot of people do. They'll go to the juju shop and they'll buy a Santa Muerte statue, right? They bring him home, put her on the altar, and then they expect the Santa Muerte to start doing bad stuff with it, like a love spell. They want their men back, and they haven't built that relationship when they're already asking her to do negative work for them,
Mm,
you know, or they're
mm-hmm.
asking her for all this stuff, she's. It's like me building a relationship with you. I'm not gonna come to you after 2 hours of meeting you and say, Janelle, can I borrow $3,000?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, so you need to establish that relationship with her before you start practicing. You can't work with something if you don't know what you're working with. You're gonna open doors, and instead of helping yourself, you're gonna hurt yourself.
right.
You're gonna invite something else into that spiritual quadrant, into that. statue that is not her.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's happening a lot.
yeah,
I mean,
people go to the juju shop, buy a Santísima Muerte. I want this guy back, tráeme los pies llorando and blah 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 and blah 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 blah. You know, if the person doesn't want to be with you, then you know, learn how to value yourself, learn how to respect yourself,
hmm,
and she will see that, and she's gonna bring you something better.
right.
You know, you can't force anybody to love. Another thing I'm gonna tell you guys, as you cannot buy spirituality. Okay, spirituality is a gift that you were born with. You have to develop it. Just because you did a ritual doesn't mean that you will receive a spiritual. You cannot buy it. You have to develop it.
Right.
Okay, buying a Santa Muerte and putting her to do evil deeds, to hurt somebody, it's the wrong way of going.
Hmm. Right.
Because that's
And
the first thing people do.
exactly. And coming in as somebody new, all of this is very overwhelming. And then I know that they hear you say something like that, and they're going to be like, "How?" So, what would you tell them if they were to ask you, "Well, how do I develop that?"
Well, you develop her by introducing her to your house, turning on her candles, talking to her. How do you feel? Do you feel the room different? Is there a different energy? Are there thoughts coming into your head that are not your thoughts? You have to develop that communication. Um, was that, did your place feel different? And now that you have her, does it feel any different?
Hmm.
How do you feel when you invoked her, when you start invoking her? You know, I told you guys about that experience that I had, but then when I first started invoking her, I was in tears. You know, I had emotional, I went through an emotional breakdown when I was invoking her, and I was crying. I felt like a little bitch crying, but that's because I felt that love. I felt her saying, I've been wanting you to have me and work me forever, and I'm
Yeah.
here now. I'm part of this, and I got so emotional, and I started crying like a little bitch, and I'm like, you know, and I started wiping my things, and until this day when I work with her, because I don't know if you used to see me in my Practicas de la Santa Muerte page that I used to have before.
Yeah.
I got out now, and I used to do prayers and healing on live
Hmm.
videos, and go, and I used to go and start praying, for everybody, and everybody will get in and say, pray for this, and I will pray for this person,
Yep.
pray for this person to heal, and I say, en el nombre de la Santísima Muerte, en el nombre de aquí, que en el nombre de allá, el Espíritu aquí, que vaya Julano de tal, and I will feel like I was in church, and I was a preacher, and I was like, praise, and, levántate, levántate, en el nombre de la Santa Muerte, and I would go crazy, because I used to get that, she touched me, and I would cry and stuff like that. I feel like, Pentecostal lady saying amen, amen, amen to that, but it was, she was touching me,
Yeah.
and I stopped all these practices, right? I stopped all these practices for a while. Hello, Santa Muerte. I stopped that, and I joined a Pentecostal church, you know,
Hmm.
and that was, when I was there, and they say the Holy Ghost got you. It wasn't the Holy Ghost. It was the things that walk with me, and I was healing people, but I know deep inside, it was not the Holy Ghost. It was her back there, my Indian, and everything else that walked with me. So then I'm like, you know what? I don't feel good here. I'm walking away, and I'm going back to being a brujo.
Hmm. Oh, what's your YouTube channel? It's called The Truth
Uh,
Monger.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, there are gonna be some things that you're gonna see there, good stuff and bad stuff, spiritual bath. A lot of the things is not traditional because a lot of her thing is oral. I do things that are things that you can find in the house, stuff that you can find around the house. Um, I do it for those that the videos that I put there is for people that are on low income, that they can afford this expensive stuff. So if you find cinnamon powder in your house, you can do endulzamiento with her with cinnamon powder. You can do stuff with her with nutmeg, different things like that. Pepper, how to get rid of enemies with her, how to do a spiritual bath with her, how to do an amarre for la cabeza with her, how to, get her pregnant using her energies and stuff. Oh no, that wasn't there. That was in the Santísima Muerte page that I left.
Hmm.
um, I started that page and it got up to 1,000 and something people, but then I was like being text every day. I want my man. It was for Latinos. I want my man back. How do I get my man back? People, saying, my man left me. And it was everything about love and about love spells. I helped a lot of people. A lot of people, got their partners back. But after that, it's like they wouldn't keep up their promises. They pissed me off, so I totally left the page. You know, because I'm like that. I left the page. I started the page. I got it up to 1,000 something people within what 2 months, right? You part of that.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you,
It was
you you went
it
up
was
like
pretty
that so
quick.
fast. Yeah.
Hey, Carlos. There's another Carlos here. Sorry, I'm saying hi to the other Carlos.
Oh, Carlos Cruz. Oh, hey, that's Paulo
Yeah,
Patipemba on his thing. Okay.
yeah. I sent him a saber tree, and he says it's getting big. Yay!
Oh, I gotta get one for you because I can't find him here.
Ooh, there's a ton down here. There's a
Oh, I
ton.
gotta go up there then, because Amy and I have been looking for. Oh, by the way, Amy, she's my partner. She's my girlfriend. She has a lot of good knowledge on Santa Muerte too, so you can hit her up too.
Hey,
She's
Amy.
new at it, yeah, but she's real good. She has good stuff with Santa Muerte.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
matata. Well, salam alaikum. Qué buena sombra me locutare.
Salam
So,
alaikum.
yeah. So
So,
we were talking about a saber tree with Amy,
oh,
and I was
Veronica's a
like.
yeah, yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, Veronica's like, yeah, 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 está muy suelto. Anyways, uh, um, yeah. Hey guys, I did a great interview with Eric Cologne. I invite you guys to watch that. It was good. He put a lot of good stuff there. I'm trying to get another person to interview on Palo. I have Saturday, like I said, an interview with Christian Crow. More details on the Santa Muerte.
Yeah.
If any of you guys, wanna talk to me and make a live video on your experience and your journey path, you're not afraid, to speak. Please feel free to contact me and we have a great conversation. I'm trying to get some knowledge up there so people won't fall in the wrong hands. Um, I had what was it, Mauricio Embry,
Yeah.
Siete Saya Crossroad. She
Yeah.
has a YouTube video on Espiritismo. I
She's a
did her.
spiritista. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about Espiritismo with her. So if you guys want your information out there, please feel free to contact me and we do a live video. We set up a date
Yeah.
because we share it in seven and different pages, in different pages.
Yeah. No, I
Anything
have to
else that
finish
there was
watching.
asked?
What's that?
Anything else that was asked and that we.
Um, I think you've been over most of it. Those were the ones that were coming up the most was the blood, the marriage, the sigil, the how the different traditions are divided, pagan versus the Catholic approach. Um, I think you covered most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will, pray to her in the Catholic way, but imagine the Catholic Church refused her and
Yeah.
condemn her, but she's still the people's saint, and she has done a lot of miracles. Just like Maria Bionzo from Venezuela, she has done a lot of miracles for the people in Venezuela, and she's the saint of the people, just like she's the saint of the Mexican people. You have La San La Muerte back in Argentina, and a lot of people confuse San La Muerte with Santa Muerte, and they say it's the
Oh,
same
that's a good
cultures.
one. Yeah, that's a
And
good one.
and I'm gonna uh,
Okay, so real quick while he's getting the statue, San La Muerte is a masculine, uh, is a male grim reaper essentially, as opposed to the Santa Muerte, which is always perceived as female. So there, yeah.
Okay, when you buy a statue of La Santa Muerte, you'll notice that her chest is covered. You see that?
Yep, yep,
Her
yep.
chest is covered. Santa Muerte will have the chest open and his skeletal part will be showing.
His chest.
So if
Yep.
you don't know the difference, he will have his chest open, like showing his masculine side. the female, the Santísima Muerte, will have the chest closed, and that's how you can tell the difference. And they're not the same. Actually, San La Muerte has ties to Jesus Christ and La San La Muerte culture. And there's I forgot the name of this guy who has very good information on him on YouTube. Um, he's a guy from Argentina, I think. I'll get it, and I'll put his name on the page that he tells that, and it has to do with the Indios from Guarani.
Yep.
Uruguay and stuff, and Argentina that started praying to San La Muerte. That's how it became popular. But Santa Muerte and San La Muerte are two different things, not the same.
Right. And how do you tell the difference in the energy? Like how does somebody know if they brought one in instead of the other? How do they tell besides the statue's physical representation?
I don't work with San La Muerte.
Okay.
I don't work with San La Muerte. It has never attracted me. A lot of people will ask, well, how do you know if I'm being called and stuff? Did you go to the juju shop and you bought her just to buy her? Then you know it's a calling. If you went to the juju shop and just to work with her and do nasty things right away, then don't think it's a calling. It's just you. It's your ego talking to you about doing things. It's not, and when you do spiritual stuff like evil stuff with her, it's not her doing the evil stuff. It's you. You're the one manifesting that energy. It's not her. She's just taking
Thank
the
you.
energy where it's supposed to go. But the manifestation starts with you. The thought starts with you, not with her.
Thank you. She's
You know.
what they call neutral. She's neutral, yeah?
hmm
Yeah, so you
Um,
take the brunt. If you wanted to do this work against this one person and you asked her to intervene on your behalf and something bad happens to them, I'm sorry, but you got to take the fall for that one. I mean, that's how I
yeah.
see it. It's you are the one that petitioned her to do that, or to petition that thing to happen with her help, basically. Yeah.
Um,
So
there's a lot of good stuff out there. Um, that a lot of pages do um, that give good information. If you want to practice her traditional way, I'm here. You can guys ask me questions. I practice traditional. I do not practice what Enriqueta preaches. Her son did a better job, Pantera, of staying in the traditional way. And if you guys know the story of Pantera, what happened to him and how Enriqueta then took over because she made a promise, but originally Enriqueta was
yeah,
not this. And there's other things. I practice her tradition. You know, where I
yeah,
also with the people that I show, and they come here, we actually will make a statue of her out of cement, or we will make it out of clay. I have stuff on my Facebook page that I show how to make things with feathers and everything. You know, and that's the one that we'll do the rituals to. Where
hmm,
I'm saying blood sacrifice to, that I hardly do. I stopped practicing blood sacrifice because for certain reasons. I found out that just by offering a fruit to any spirit, it works too. Um, just by offering them something else, it works too. Instead of taking an innocent animal's life for no reason, you don't need. I don't want to get too much into the subject, but I no longer practice blood sacrifice. But that's on a
okay.
personal,
That's your
you know.
personal deal. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
that's in Palo. That's in Palo too. I no longer practice blood sacrifice at all. And my things still work. That Infumbe still goes and that's what it needs to do because it's a communication and it's um how do you say getting to know what you work with.
right, right. And at the end of the day, to each their own. That's how we started the video. I mean, that's how we end it. And this is how the world works. This is how it was traditionally supposed to work. At the end was everybody had their own way of doing things, and so long as it worked, then that's what mattered. So,
Mhm.
but yeah. Are you wrapping it up or what?
If there's any questions, real quick, I'll take some questions, or you can take some
Yeah,
questions. We nine
yeah.
viewers. We had like 20 something, but now there's like I guess they got
They had to
uh
go. We'll just leave it at
Yeah,
that. They had to go. That's fine.
so
That's
if you
fine.
guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not saying I know everything. Like once again, I practice traditional Aztec. I do not practice anything with the Abrahamic religion. I do not hide under the Pope's skirt, because I'm thinking that I'm going against God's will. To be honest with you, I don't even believe in the Bible. So I'd rather say that the Anunnakis do exist but that's my personal opinion. I'd
That's
rather
a whole
believe in
other video.
Enlil. I believe in
Yeah.
Enlil and Inky and, you
Yeah.
know, but that's my personal opinion. So I don't not, but everybody has their own thing.
Right. Well, thanks for taking time aside, and thanks for doing this interview. I know that there's a few people that are going to disagree, and that's fine. There's a few people that a light bulb is going to turn on, and that's cool too. But the whole point of the video was to express another person's perspective and practice and how they do it. That's the whole point of the video. So, yeah. So thank you for the people that showed up. Thank you. What we're gonna do is, this is Facebook Live, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna upload it to YouTube so that the people that missed it can watch it there.
Why
Um,
don't I do blood sacrifice anymore? To be honest with you, in my time when I was practicing this, for every cleansing, every ritual, we had to kill animals, and it really got into my head. The screaming, it got to me. And then when I started owning pets, I got three Chihuahuas, and I love them to death. And when I got them, they changed the way I thought. And then I started experiment. I hid away for a little while. I went under a nutshell, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna get back up there, and I started doing regular stuff. For example, instead of doing cleansing with the rooster, I would do it with a coconut, or I would do it with a bottle. How as a tata, I don't know if you've seen how we trap spirits in a bottle. Or I would do it with like a fruit, a coconut, different herbs instead of doing a fully rompimiento in with the animal. I don't want to get too much into that,
yeah.
because to respect of the religion. But it was my three dogs that changed my way of seeing things. That looking into their eyes, and now when I see an animal being sacrificed, I start going in tears. I don't. And I spoke with that in a video with Colon about that too. He has his interpretation. I have my interpretation. So it was there. I really don't. I don't care what people do. You want to kill as many roosters as you want. Um, you know, Go ahead, fine. Try the other way if you want, just with a simple coconut or using la botella to trap it, the energies. I found out it's not necessary to do, but that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, People say,
It's your
how can you
experience.
be a tata if you don't do sacrifices? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's through experience. Like a lot of people say, do I need to initiate in these religions? Well, let's say that's well, Ochun not accept somebody who's not initiated or have a crown, the offering that you take her to the river. Would she not accept it and be grateful?
Mm.
Then somebody who has Ocha in his crown and takes an offering to her, was she gonna pick one over the other one, or she just wants you to believe in her, not disrespecting Ocha, not respecting all those who are crowned, but it doesn't matter what you practice, because if you don't have the faith, then you're wasting your time. And I have the faith that my infumbe works. I have the faith that, tata no so manteca, and things work. My yayi, she does abre caminos, and she does a lot of things without even dropping blood. And her stuff, abre camino, is on point, you know
Mm.
is on point, and she's there. So that's the
Yeah.
new thing that I'm working, but that's on a personal level.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's worked for
Mm-hmm.
me so far.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, but well, I think you covered everything. I can't
Hmm.
think of anything else. I'm pretty sure I'll think of something as soon as we're done with the video, but I can't think of anything else right now. Like, you covered the majority of the questions. that most
Okay.
people have been asking lately. Yeah. So
Well, Veronica, you need to ask your godfather for that. That's why we all have godfathers,
give me
you
just a second.
know. Yeah, go ahead. That's why we all have godfathers, so they could recommend, I don't want to open my mouth and say, you know what, well, Tata Patilemba Tiesamundo said this on video. Is it true? I don't want, you know, to. I personally has to have tried it, and for my result, it works. My results. But your padrino might say something different, so I would recommend that you talk to him first, and ask him, is it necessary? If he won't answer, you have Tata Butaco, who is one of the tatas that I follow, and he has very good information. Eric Colon is somebody that I just met, but from what I've heard, seen from him, he is very knowledgeable. You can reach out to Eric Colon, about it and ask him a question. Eric Colon has a good, theology behind that. Or you can reach out, like I said, to Tata Butaco, and ask him if your padrino would not answer that correctly for you.
Okay. Well, that's all I got. What? Of course, that's true, but as our from Matamoros. Can you spell the Tata's name? Oh, Tata Butaco? Is that who you mean?
Yeah.
Or Eric Colon?
Well, Eric Colon, you can talk to Eric Colon. He said in his interview he'll be, willing to, answer a question. He was in the video, watching the video earlier.
Mhm.
Um, but you can look for Tata Butaco in Facebook, and ask him, if it's, your opinion about it. But remember, it depends on what Rama you're from too. Because if you're from Cristo Buen Viaje, or, you're from Briyumba, you're from Mayombe, but at the end of the day, we believe in one thing, so,
Yeah.
um, but,
Butaco would be Butako? Yeah,
mhm.
right? Yeah, okay. She's asking to spell it, so yeah.
Well, he,
But
he, I'm sorry that if I'm giving this information, if he watches this later, but he has a page that he has open to answer questions. And you can look for him for Efrain Medina on Facebook. That's Tata Butaco. I
he
hope he
was
doesn't get
watching.
pissed off at me.
He was
What?
watching earlier.
Okay, I hope he doesn't get upset with me. Uh, but I do follow him a lot, and I respect the way he thinks. I agree with him a lot. He's working on a new book, and I can't wait to get my hands on that book when it comes out. Where he's gonna explain a lot of things that it's secrets and that I didn't know. And I've been studying this for a long time. I've been in Palo basically for about 35 years. And my knowledge of Palo is nothing compared to them, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so I would recommend him. Um, he has a good knowledge, and he is straight with his answers though.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
Colon too. Colon is very straight. Eric Colon, he's very good at answering questions. The few hours that I spoke to him, he opened my eyes, and I was like, "Holy crap, this guy has knowledge."
we're always learning. That's the
Mhm.
key. Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. If you guys want his Carlos's YouTube page again, it's called The Truth Monger. Monger. Yeah?
Yes, Efrain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Yes,
no, you
35 years, but it's been 35 years from falling, getting up, getting in the wrong hands. Carlos, it's been getting in the wrong hands, being scratched by the wrong person. I was actually at Dima in Kimba 2 times, falling in the wrong hands. And that's why Janelle and I do this video, so people do their research before they fall in the wrong hands. I'm talking from experience. There's a lot of people that will take your money and cut you up, and give you some fake Santa Muerte. And you have the feeling, test your padrinos, who you want them to do the thing, test them before you decide, to get, that blood oath. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about this in here, but hey, you know, it's been a good journey.
Yeah,
It's been a good
very.
journey.
We
Yeah.
have our ups, our downs, and that's how we learn, you know?
My love is the spiritismo. My love is spiritismo. For me,
Yeah,
I'm a spiritista before anything.
he said that since day one.
Yeah, that's my
And
love.
the general consensus is, before you get into any religion, any of at least the ATRs, the African traditional religions, tribal religions, is even though it comes from a different culture and everything, that it's essentially being a medium. If you're a good medium, you will be good at pretty much anything, at any practice. So,
Yeah, I see the symbol on your name, Carlos, and I know that's from basically Oriate, Tata Oriate.
yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of good information out there too. Um, a lot of good information. But like I said, my go to guy is Butaco, Tata Butaco, to do stuff. So just do your research. Every Tata has a different way of teaching, different way of seeing things. It's good to learn a little bit. So it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. The more versed you are, the more things will start to make sense, and the more you'll start to know, the more you'll open your eyes. Yeah.
Mm.
So, but you see any other? Is that all the comments right there?
I'm an
Yeah.
espiritista too, brother. Yeah, okay. So, anyways, with that saying, no more questions. So I guess we'll call it finito. Don't forget Saturday I have that interview with Christian Crow, and on Sunday I have one with Royal. She is more into the Americanized Wicca, Green Witch stuff. Real good. She has a good spiritual journey. You can also find me at Mellow Mystic Society. I do a lot of live videos there from different things, from little things to do with Santa Muerte, different things. You can find me in that page, Mellow Mystic Society. And I'm also in the page with Alexis. What's the name of that?
Um,
RT.
RGV, Rio Grande Valley, RGV. I think it's culture. Damn, he's gonna get so mad at me because I look at it all the time. RGV folklore. Just search RGV folklore. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're into Luciferian, I'm also in Cauldron of the Black Flame, which is a Luciferian page because I'm a student of religion and culture. That's what I do. I study religion and culture, so it doesn't mean that well, I could be an a-hole, but um, I've been calmed
Wow.
down. I say my girlfriend has done an amarre with me to me, and she calmed me down.
Well, no, but yeah, and
My
then
little
my page,
Gemini calmed me down.
and my page, I just started it up. It's Madrina Santísima Muerte, and it's only got, it's got like 150 people, 170 people, but I'm posting questions every day, questions like these, and you guys are free to join. It's just a like page, and post your whatever you want to post. There's no restrictions really, other than to just respect each other. So yeah. So those are our social medias, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well, it was nice
that's it.
talking to you. We'll probably do
You
another
too.
video.
Yeah,
Another
yeah.
video. We did one last time, so
I'm gonna upload that one too. I'm gonna try to get the other one that we did from a while back. I'm gonna try to get it up onto YouTube tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. This
okay.
was fun. This is fun.
All right.
Um,
So,
so
what do you love about Palo? So, how much has it helped you? Look, to be honest with you, I was wild and crazy. And when I did my Inkimba, it just turned my world completely. I had a bad attitude, you know. But with what's the word that you use? With power comes responsibility.
Yep.
You know, because in the beginning, as everybody knows that when they start something and they have that energy, that power, they think they could take over the world. And I do. I learned a lot. It changed my life. I respect that. I love Palo, but like I said, my first love is Espiritismo. Before that, so.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's been nice, guys. Any other questions, please feel free to message me on Messenger. comment on my page, and if I could help you, I will. If I can't, then I'll point you to the right person.
Awesome. And likewise. So, well, thank you, Carlos. This was fun, and I'm looking forward to the future interviews. I'm really curious to see how those turn out. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm doing it just to open people's eye and different ways just before you decide to either enter whatever your religion you want to go.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'll send link. Sorry, I keep getting notifications. I'll send you the link, Justina, right here in just a second. But yeah, I think we're good, and I guess we'll see you all later. We'll see you all next time.
all right. Well, I'm gonna
Thanks,
press
Carlos.
finish here. Thank you. Have a night, blessed night.
You too.
Yeah.
All right.